Welcome to Inside the Summit League, and what a week it was for our brothers and sisters on the basketball floor. Starting with North Dakota State, the men have jumped into the College Insider mid-major poll this week at number 20, largely in part to NDSU's win over Notre Dame. Well, this would be the shocker under the Shamrock in South Bend. Notre Dame would go on and beat Indiana 3 nights later, but this one belonged to the Bison. Trayvon Wright rising up. He had 9 points and 6 rebounds. Lawrence Alexander played all 40 minutes for North Dakota State. He had 1 steal, but he had 16 points and 14 rebounds, and the Bison were off and running. Marshall Bjorklund was a beast as usual inside, 11 of 14 from the field. Look at Wright on this one. Helium, again, he had 9 points, and just that was the tone for the whole night in this one. Notre Dame star Pat Connaughton kept the Irish in it. He had 3 steals and 21 points for Notre Dame, but NDSU led by 2 at the half. And Bjorklund went left, went right, went wherever he wanted. Good move by Lawrence Alexander. Again, he had a double-double, 16 points and 14 rebounds on the night. Bjorklund was named the mid-major player of the week this week, largely because of his performance. A season-high 26 points on a variety of moves for Marshall Bjorklund. He is 3rd in the nation right now, 69% field goal shooting. Taylor Braun added 13 points and 3 assists ahead to Corey Brown there for the throwdown. And NDSU beats Notre Dame 73-69.
Thankful for our guys, particularly our seniors who've come close in a lot of these. And I'll be honest with you, of the ones we came close in, this might be the best team that we played of the ones we came close in.
Feels good, especially some of us older guys. We've had 3 or 4 high major games that we've lost by a last second shot or 1 or 2 points, and come in. This is the hard work we put in. It's nice. It's a good feeling.
Big win for the Bison, big win for the Summit League, and nearly another one the night before as South Dakota took Kansas State down to the wire. Trey Norris ahead to Tyler Flack for the slam. 8 points for Flack in this one. More from USD in transition. Casey Kasperbauer was 1 for 3 on 3. It was a 13-0 Coyote run, but K-State comes back. Marcus Foster would hit 3 straight threes. He had 18 points, and they cut the lead to 5 at the break. 31-26, Coyotes on top. Big night for Trevor Gruce. Up over Thomas Gibson. A couple of trips later, Gruce again from Trey Norris. Norris had 7 assists. Gruce had 18 points and 3 block shots for the Coyotes. Adam Thosby, his best game as a Yote, scores 2 of his season high, 16. And the Coyotes are up 3 with under 6 minutes to play. But Wildcats make one last run. Shane Southwell led the way. He had 17 on the night, drains a 3 to put him in front for good, and K-State, which never led by more than 4, wins it 64-62. Not quite as close in Minneapolis between the Gophers and the Jackrabbits. Jake Biddle back in the lineup for South Dakota State after being out for about a month with an injury. Cody Larson to Jordan Dykstra, one of the bright spots for SDSU, had 16 points, 12 rebounds. Later, Larson, the transfer from Florida, goes back and goes left. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Larson will kick it out to Braden Carlson for 3. The Jacks shot 6 of 20 on threes. They had the game tied at 23, but Minnesota went out and led by 8 at halftime. Chad White had 15 for South Dakota State, but Minnesota led by double digits for most of the second half, and a decent night for Dykstra, but the Jacks fall by 16. South Dakota State will play at North Dakota coming up this Saturday. In Indianapolis, IUPUI, no problemo with NAIA school Cincinnati Christian in town. Ian Childs got it going for the Jaguars, hit 3, and then 3 more for Childs. And then he tires of the 3 and goes to the rack instead. 22 for Childs. He's averaging just over 18 points a game so far for IUPUI. This is one of the McCallum brothers, Jerab McCallum for 3. He had 11 coming off the bench, and the Jags up 16 at halftime. McCallum again in the second half to push the lead up to 19, and IUPUI wins it by 22. Marcellus Barksdale slicing in here. He had 18, and the Jags take it 94-72. Another good win for Omaha. The Mavs are getting a few votes in the mid-major poll this week. Omaha taking on Cal State Bakersfield. John Karhoff had 18. He had 25 the night after this against Nevada. Devin Patterson with a steal and a score, 13 points and 3 assists for the starting point guard. Omaha can get out and go. C.J. Carter with a little scoop. And then Carter again will get out on the break. He led Omaha with 20 in this one, and the Mavs up by 7 at halftime on Bakersfield. Marcus Tyus is a sophomore from the Twin Cities area. 3 of his 14 there. The Mavs win at 93-88. They follow this one up with a win over Nevada, and Omaha goes to Minnesota on Friday night. When we come back, the Summit surge continues as South Dakota State takes down a mid-major powerhouse at Frost Arena in Brookings.
This isn't an Epic Sports commercial.
There's no Hollywood director.
There's no $1 million budget.
There's no slow motion.
Or stadiums filled with crowds.
It's just us.
Us.
Real athletes.
Real athletes.
Who want to get better, get stronger,
and make the starting lineup. Be healthy and active.
And this is where we'll do it.
The Sanford Sports Complex, a game-changing destination. Learn more at sanfordsports.com.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a brand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Spin a day off into a day of play. Who says life next door shouldn't be grand? Get tickets now for Nicholas David, former contestant on The Voice, performing January 18th at 8 p.m. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a brand new way to eat, play, and stay.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Back to men's hoops. South Dakota State has been a little bit of a mystery so far. We think they're going to be really good. They just haven't really put it all together yet until Saturday in Brookings when SDSU took on Belmont, a team that had beaten North Carolina a few weeks ago. Jacks coach Scott Nagy knew that his team could play this well, and they put out some max effort and got it done in this one. Jacks up 3 early. Braden Carlson was great in the first half. Gets it right back from Dykstra there. The Jacks are up by 6, and then Carlson gets a little sloppy, though. J.J. Mann, he was a mid-major player of the week already this season with the steal. He had 15 for the Bruins, but Jackrabbits in control in the first half. Carlson with the steal to Dykstra and back to Carlson for the layup, and the Jacks back up 6 midway through the first half. Carlson kept the energy going, follows up his own short jumper in the miss there. He led all scorers with 20, had 17 of those in the first half. And then Cody Larson on the feed inside from Jake Biddle. 16 for Larson in this one. Biddle will hit a quarter 3 coming up here. He had 19 points and 5 steals and brought some energy as well. And the Jackrabbits knock off Belmont 85-72.
You know, I was a little concerned about for our players about doubt starting to creep in. I feel like this can really help us, see the potential and believe.
Good win for the Jackrabbits. South Dakota has shown some potential as well. The Coyotes taking on Wisconsin Green Bay. Green Bay picked to win the Horizon League this year. Brandon Boss, though, to Farmer Gruis. Trevor Gruis had 16 for the Coyotes. Casey Kasperbauer came in, hit a couple of threes for USD. He had 14 off the bench. And USD led by 14 in the first half. But Green Bay gets 2 back coming up here on Greg Mays slipping to the hoop. But Coyotes held their own. Trey Norris will kick it out. Find Brandon Boss for the moving jumper. And the Coyotes are up by 7 at the half on a very good Green Bay team. But Green Bay took Wisconsin down to the wire this year. Green Bay beat Virginia a couple weeks ago, and they would get back in this when they tie it up early in the second half. Look at this finish by Boss, though. He had 19 to lead USD, and the Coyotes are down by 3 with 19 seconds left. They get the steal and then give it right back, and oh, so close again for USD, but Green Bay escapes this one with a 4-point win. Well, after that win at Notre Dame, North Dakota State had to turn around 3 days later and take on Ohio State, the number 2 team in the country at the time. Lawrence Alexander with 3 there. He had 10 points on the night for the Bison. Marshall Bjorklund goes reverse. He was 5 of 10 from the field in this one. Had a dozen points for North Dakota State. This play had the Bison a bit befuddled on the evening. Sam Thompson on the inbounds play, and they would do it again later in the second half. But the Bison were scrapping as well. Taylor Braun on the miss. Jordan Alberg hustling after the rebound. Back to Braun, to Trayvon Wright. Wright had just 5 points, though, and Ohio State was up by 13 at the half. Taylor Braun, though, is good no matter who he is playing. The take and the left, and 1 for Braun, and then another highlight coming up on the little hoppy skippy jump through the lane here. Looks like a travel, but it is not. That's kind of a patented move by Taylor Braun, getting strong to the basket. Braun had 21 to lead North Dakota State, but here is that inbound thing again by Ohio State. Same thing, and the Buckeyes win it by 17. Ohio State stays unbeaten. Bison had won 5 in a row. They came back 2 nights later, though, and beat Delaware by 19. So there. Let's go to Denver. Meanwhile, the Pioneers had beaten Colorado State a couple of nights earlier, taking on Wyoming in this one. Chris Udofia spinning and shooting. Didn't shoot it great, though. He helped Denver get the win, though. Larry Nance Sr. won the very first NBA dunk contest back in 1984. That is his kid, Larry Jr. He had a huge game for Wyoming. Marcus Bird's been very good off the bench for Denver. Hits 3. He had 14 for the Pioneers. Brett Olson led Denver with 23. He gets loose. 23 for Olson, but watch Nance on the alley-oop. He had 6 dunks, 38 points for Nance for Wyoming. But Denver led almost the entire way. Bryant Rucker on the drive. Denver up by 9 at the half. Wyoming would tie it up in the second half, but Udofia is patient, hits the little hook there to put Denver back on top. Tied at 61 with 4 seconds left. Olson will get the jumper as the clock winds down for the lead. He scored the last 7 points for Denver, and the Pioneers knock off Wyoming by 3. Up next, the South Dakota State women have been making as much noise as anyone lately. The Jacks earned one of their biggest wins in years.
Since 1982, the Summit League has been achieving excellence. Beyond providing a quality education to more than 120,000 students, the league continues to strengthen its reputation of being nationally competitive in athletics. Today, more than 3,000 elite student athletes at 8 institutions embody the vision, purpose, and innovation the Summit League represents. These young men and women are reaching for the summit in both athletic and academic endeavors.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Celebrate New Year's Eve at Grand Falls Casino Resort with free bands in the show lounge starting at noon, champagne toasts, and our New Year's Eve buffet from 4 to 10. Cap off the night with Endless Summer Band in the Event Center at 9:15, with the fun continuing through midnight. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
Winter fashion is a wonderland, and you'll find all the season's best looks waiting for you at Shields. So let it snow.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Now to women's basketball, South Dakota State has built a reputation as a giant killer, especially at home. The Jacks took out Georgetown last month at Frost Arena, and last week they took down probably their biggest giant yet. Penn State came into this game number 12 in the nation, but Aaron Johnston said his team was focused from the very beginning. Megan Witashik drives and finds Steph Pollock in the corner for three. The Jacks are up by 7 early, and they can feel it. Back come the Nittany Lions, though. Maggie Lucas on the give and go. She had 20 for Penn State. But SDSU would start to build the lead in the first half. They go around the world to Witashik, who knocks down 3. She had a team-high 18 for South Dakota State. And then a little later in the half, on the break, Gabby Bover. Nice bounce pass to Hannah Strop for 2. And the Jacks were up by 20 at halftime on the number 12 team in the nation. They led by as many as 23. Penn State cut it to 1 late in the ball game on that Ariel Edwards hoop. But Bover will come up and hit a shot with just under a minute to play to keep the Jackrabbits in the lead. Steph Pollock went to the free throw line late and made a couple of free throws with 4 seconds left. And the Jackrabbits, on the strength of Pollock and Witashik and a team effort, they take out number 12 Penn State. The upset final is 83-79 South Dakota State. In Omaha, the Mavericks, they'd lost 3 in a row, but stopped that streak here against Air Force freshman Michaela Shaw. Averaging 9 points, 8 rebounds early on in the season for Omaha. She had 16 and 7 in this one. Erica House for 3, and Omaha up by 18 at the half. More like before in the second half. House to another freshman, Sammy Pollock, who led, and Omaha had a 31-point lead at this point. Another dish to Pollock coming up here. She had 13 points in just 19 minutes for Omaha. And then Erica House will find Shaw one more time. Omaha improves to 4-5 with an 84-56 win. South Dakota keeps it rolling too. The Coyotes go to 6-5 with a win over Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa had won the last 4 against the Coyotes, but first half, Nicole Seekamp to Polly Harrington. Harrington had 12 of her 18 in the first half. Rachel Contreras has been valuable off the bench, takes it for the easy lay-in. She had a season high as well with 21 for USD. And the Coyotes up 10 with the clock winding down in the first half. Seekamp beats the buzzer. Coyotes up 35-22 at the break. Northern Iowa was down by 21, but the Panthers get back at it. Madison Weekly with a little floater that goes down there, and then Weekly will kick it out to Brittany Donaldson. Northern Iowa cuts the lead down to 11, but that is as close as they would get. Taya Miller to Margaret McLeod. Watertown to Rapid City. McLeod had 10 points and 6 rebounds. And then Contreras will dish to Lisa Loeffler here, and the Coyotes roll to their 4th straight win, 87-67 over Northern Iowa.
They kind of, I think, got a little bit used to our zone defense and got some easy looks and knocked down a few perimeter shots, and so we had to make some adjustments. But I think that we kind of weathered that storm and came back strong and kind of gave that knockout punch this time, which was good to see.
More women's hoops to come on Inside the Summit League, including the State U Showdown in North Dakota and another impressive home win for South Dakota State.
Williams shoots, gets up, he scores. Tie game. We are going to bring the ball up court under pressure. Long pass inside to Montgomery. He spins. The shot is up, and it's a 20-foot jumper from the 5'11" sophomore forward.
Our heritage is rooted in the gymnasiums of every town, big and small, throughout the region. For this reason, Sanford Health proudly presents Heritage Court at the heart of the Pentagon.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. a casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Spin a day off into a day of play. Who says life next door shouldn't be grand? Get tickets now for Nicholas David, former contestant on The Voice, performing January 18th at 8 p.m. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Back to women's hoops. North Dakota State put up plenty of points on Saturday, but the Bison come up short against their in-state rival. Coach Carolyn DeHoff in her 6th season now as the Bison boss, and her team on the road here at North Dakota. And this is the transfer for NDSU. Came from Southern Illinois. Brooke Lamar had 10 points and 8 assists in a nice performance. Lamar a little later on to Mickey Stephenson. She is a senior from Moorhead, Minnesota. 13 points and 8 rebounds for Stephenson. And North Dakota State would score enough in this ball game. Marina Whittle was 3 for 5 on 3-pointers. Knocks one down here. Whittle had 23 to lead NDSU. And the Bison are up 2 at the half. Holly Johnson is a sophomore from Minot, North Dakota. Faces up, hits that 2 of her 17. And again, NDSU had plenty of points, and they led until the final 90 seconds. But Maddie Buck had 37 points for North Dakota, and North Dakota State comes up just short, 88-83. Speaking of just short, IUPUI at home against Indiana on Sunday afternoon. Indiana was 10-0 coming into this one. That's De'Ara Goss with the first hoop. And then Nevena Markovic inside. She had 10, but the Jags only shot 25% for the game, and it hurt them. Akila Sims with the steal ahead to Bellamy. 8.6 rebounds, 4 assists for D.D. Bellamy. Sims will score there just before the half. She had 8. Indiana up by 3, though, at halftime. Markovic tried 4 threes, made a couple of them. But again, IUPUI could just not make quite enough shots in this one. Nicole Rogers for 3, and the Jacks had the lead by 6 with 13 minutes to play. But Indiana outscored them 23-11 the rest of the way. Laren Brooks with 2 of her 15, and Indiana wins it 51-45. IUPUI drops to 7-4 on the season. Now, the only record better than that, though, right now is South Dakota State, and the Jackrabbits coming off that win over Penn State, taking on a very good mid-major in Central Michigan. Jacks were up 3 at the break, but struggled to start the second half. Crystal Bradford led the Chippewas with 25, hits the hoop there. Jacks working around. Gabby Bover knocks down 3. She had a career-high 18 for South Dakota State. Star of the afternoon, though, was true freshman Carrie Young from Mitchell, South Dakota. Goes in for the layup plus the foul. Puts the Jacks up by 2 in the second half. And then a couple possessions later, Young very good on the fast break in this one. And the result is the same. Hoop and a foul. A career-high 21 points in this one for the freshman Carrie Young. And she dished out some assists as well. Young finds Mariah Claren for the easy 2. That put the Jacks up by 8. And they win it by 5, 87-82. Coming up, we'll take you to Fargo for the campus spotlight. Some construction dreams are becoming reality. It is official now. We'll show you the plans for the new home of Bison basketball.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Celebrate New Year's Eve at Grand Falls Casino Resort with free bands in the show lounge starting at noon, champagne toasts, and our New Year's Eve buffet from 4 to 10. Cap off the night with Endless Summer Band in the Event Center at 9:15, with the fun continuing through midnight. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
This isn't an epic sports commercial.
There's no Hollywood director.
There's no $1 million budget. There's no slow motion
or stadiums filled with crowds. It's just us.
Us.
Real athletes.
Real athletes.
Who want to get better, get stronger,
And make the starting lineup. Be healthy and active.
and this is where we'll do it.
The Sanford Sports Complex, a game-changing destination. Learn more at sanfordsports.com.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Now to our campus spotlight, and we go to Fargo, where they are taking an old arena and turning it into a new home for Bison basketball.
On December 11th, 2013, Gene Taylor made the nearly 3-hour drive back to Fargo from Bismarck, North Dakota. And during that stretch, maybe no one had a bigger sense of relief than the Bison athletic director. It was that morning the state legislature gave the approval for the $41 million renovation of the Bison Sports Arena, the Green Light.
You know, it's kind of surreal a little bit. You know, we've been talking about this for so long.
It's not only been the Sanfords we're grateful for, the Shields, the big ones, that we wouldn't be going this far without them. But there's also been a number of individuals that have stepped up personally and done very generous gifts. So they wanted to see those gifts go to work, and now it'll start.
It has been a project that has dated back nearly a dozen years, many visions and many obstacles. But now a new journey will begin, with construction expected to start as soon as January. The project will take nearly 2 years and will require relocation by the entire department.
But now kind of the work begins. You know, we've been talking about it for so long. Now we've got to figure out, are we going to move out, are we not? Where are we going to move? How are we going to move? Where are we going to play basketball? All those things really start ramping up, and that's going to be an interesting next few months.
From a development standpoint, I think it's going to help people because there is more work to do to actually see that the project is moving forward. So we got a lot of help to get this far, and I'm just pleased it's moving forward.
The Sanford Health Athletic Complex will give state-of-the-art amenities to all programs at North Dakota State, giving coaches an additional tool to recruit student athletes. And though it is using the current structure of the Bison Sports Arena, don't expect any holdover.
I think when people walk in here, they're going to see it's going to be a brand new facility with the skin of an old skin.
And I was 7 years old. I grew up in the building as a kid, as my father's a coach. So I was around when this first opened up. The building I walked to then you won't even be able to recognize it hardly. There'll be a couple things left in the building, but it'll be a brand new building. It'll bring us up to par with the FBS type schools. It's gonna be a great place for people to come and watch the competitions.
It's going to really elevate we have a high pride now. It'll be probably at a new level once this building's done.
Reporting for Inside the Summit League, I'm Casey Byers.
Thanks again to all of our member schools. We'll see you next week on Inside the Summit League.